Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Here in Oregon, across America, and around the world. Greetings. My name is Perry, and along with PK and Reed, we'll be hosting this segment of Mercy TV. We were just catching up on the news before the show here from our local copy of the Oregon Cannabis Connection. Visit our website, mercycenters.org, for a link to the OCC, where you can get back issues and find out locations where you can get your copy of the OCC.
They have good recipes in there. We want to say hello to the Parents for Pot. They're helping out, I believe, 25 different families this Christmas time.
Excellent.
So if you go to our website or to their website, they need your help as well as we do too. And the people in the hospital, hey, talk to your children, talk to your neighbors about cannabis. You don't have to smoke it. You can use it in oil. Our friend here, Reed, he makes a salve or a balm using the roots, which are high in the CBDs.
Yes, that's correct. I produce it from the cannabis roots, and I'm looking forward to getting some hemp roots and producing it from hemp as well.
Okay. Well, so do we have a phone number for folks to get a hold of you that? Or?
Yes, the phone number is 971-240-1452, and I do have root balm at this time.
Okay, so bring your roots, the roots of your cannabis plants, gather them up and give Reed Smith a contact there, and he'll put them to good use.
Absolutely.
And you want them cleaned.
Yes, please. They can save their great dirt.
Excellent.
So I was reading in my section of the Cannabis Connection, Oregon News. Oregon cannabis tax finally gets distributed. Our producer was asking me about that earlier. After nearly 2 years of tax collection on marijuana, which should be cannabis, sales by the state of Oregon, they finally started to distribute some of the revenue to the cities and agencies that are earmarked to receive the funding or funds. A whopping $85 million have been going out to different agencies immediately. And state officers says Friday they should have the distributor completed by October 11th. So that should all happen. Another thing is how the distributor be broken down. State school funding, they're going to get $34 million.
Okay.
Medical health and alcohol and drug service account, they're going to get 17. The good old state police, they're going to get 12, close to 13 million. The Oregon Health Authority, they're only going to get 4.25.
Oh dear. Hope they can make it stretch.
Well,
wow, altogether $85 million.
yeah.
That's something. I hope none of that money gets used to putting out any more propaganda about how marijuana kills and has no medical value.
Yes. So I went up to Portland this morning, and they had a hearing where they had testimonials.
Here,
There
here.
was only 3 concerned patient growers that were there at the hearing.
All right.
They even waited some time to see if more would come in.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you patient growers had sent in your letter that you got a couple months ago asking if you wanted to be your own grower, which was the logical thing to put down,
Right.
or you were going to go to the liquor people, to the regular
Right.
folks, to make lots of money and don't care about the patients.
But folks had to answer, had to respond one way or the other.
And if they didn't, they lost the privilege of being in the program. So,
And would had to reapply.
no, they lost their whole. They wouldn't be accepted again, according to that letter.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
The doctor signs and they pay their fees, you know.
Yeah.
But now, no, we're not going to let you be a patient. Nah, that's not where it is.
No, if you didn't fill out that document and mailed it in before the 1st, and they were taking the testimonies until 5 o'clock today. I hope they got a few testimonies.
Well, hopefully did they have a way to send by email or written testimony?
Yes.
Well, hopefully folks took advantage of those and did something. Yeah, that's terrible.
And pretty soon you'll get to see this hearing on this station, fortunately.
So yeah, stay tuned here to Channel 23. Also for PK's My Garden.
Yes. And it's getting to that time of the excellent curing.
Okay. And you're going to be making any oil?
I have it all made up.
I see. Okay, well, we'll have to catch other episodes. We'll try to get those up to YouTube then for your fans and folks to be able to utilize for that valuable information you're putting out there.
I use it for my carpal tunnel to relieve the pain that I feel in my wrists up to my shoulders.
Right.
I've gave it to other patients that used it for other skin ailments and internal organ ailments.
Right.
I used it on watch things. I used it on my dog to keep the fleas off of her.
Okay.
Used it on a neighbor's dog that got hit and got her fully recovered. You don't have to smoke it. My oil is a 28-day process to originally make it up. And I use olive oil to it.
Right.
And you stir it several times during the day for that 28 days. Then everything is in the oil in that. You can press that, but you keep the mash and keep adding to the mash every season. It works wonders. It's a healing element.
Now, you're not heating the oil during this time. You're just having it in a container. In fact, it's probably out of sunlight.
Yes, it's in the dark. You keep it in a cool place, out of the sunlight.
So this method of preparing this oil, makes it ideally suited for folks that are, again, in a situation, they're in an apartment or even hospice care or care facilities, other places. It's perfectly safe. It's not like what you hear about folks that are using other methods where there's a danger of fire or explosions. So it's important to get these methods out there and how they can be applied. As you were saying, it's applied topically in many cases, giving folks an instant relief to that area with very little toxicity. People are not getting high from it, and the readings as far as being tested for cannabis are extremely low to none at all. So it's something we want to get out there. I think Reed experienced some of the same things with your process.
Yes, I use a heat process, but it also is non-explosive in any way. I use all natural products to the best of my ability. Of course, I'm unable to get olive oil from the state of Oregon. They just don't grow olives here, I don't believe.
Well, you can get it at the store, I suppose.
I do.
Extra virgin and so forth. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can use other
coconut.
Yeah, see the other oils and agents for extracting it.
Right. I'm looking in the future to replacing the olive oil or having an additional product of hemp oil, hemp seed oil.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of the olive oil.
Good, yeah.
So I'm looking at basically 3 different products or 3 different applications of the same product.
Right. Again, though, it's worthy pointing out that these are non-flammable and
That's correct.
extremely low risk. There's even if you spilled it, I doubt it's going to catch on fire or anything.
Not in the least.
Yeah. So, good. You know, and it's great of you to share the results of your process as well as the recipe there. So, folks, do give them a call and find out more about this. As PK was saying, you end up with a balm and salves, is it?
Yes, it's. I basically make a balm, but pre-adding the thickener, which is natural beeswax that I buy here in city of Salem.
Right. Locally sourced.
Locally, yes. I do my best to be local and of course organic in every way.
Great.
But in addition to that, I've lost my place. I'm sorry. I've lost my train of thought.
Oh, we were talking about the
Beeswax.
yeah, the process where you're making it in the thickener, you salve or balm.
Right. Before I add beeswax to make the balm, the oil that I produce originally, I'm using that in capsules or under my tongue, and I have people that are friends that are using it in capsules and finding very good results. They're sleeping better, and find they're resting better as well as going to sleep easier, and they're finding more energy. Probably, in addition to the sleep, the balm or the CBD is helping them to rest better.
Right.
If that's confusing.
Well, no,
I'm tongue-tied
we
tonight.
experienced many of the same things with folks using others, and I think that as you were stating before, the process of using the roots is very low in THC and high in CBDs.
That's correct. The roots originally have almost 0% of THC in the first place, but I also keep it below the temperature that carbonizes the THC into something that would get you high if there was even more.
Sure.
So I'm very careful about the temperature that I brew it at to produce as higher quality and potency of balm that I can.
Right. As folks should be aware, if you were using the heated method, if you're making a can of butter or the oil, or once you've made your can of butter, you were using it in baking, for example, you want to keep it below a certain temperature or else you will vaporize your medicine, as it were. So.
The other day, Sonny and I were over at the barn, and we were making can of butter. And he had a 32 quart container filled with the cannabis leaf and stems and some flour. He added water to about that much over the cannabis. Then he sliced butter into it.
Mm-hmm.
He never brought the water up to a boil.
Mm-hmm.
Just a slow simmer.
Right.
And that's a boop, boop,
Right.
boop. And stirring it many times during the hours so
Right.
it wouldn't burn. And getting the bottom from the top and punching it to get it.
Right. And, well, getting the extractor into every nook and cranny of the medicine and to get the best effect from it there. And about how long is...
That was 8 hours that we had it on the burner.
Right.
And it was on a low temperature. And then we put it through a wine press
Right.
to get the most out of the product that was in the water. And we saved the water from the wine press and put it in several containers. We put it in a freezer.
Right.
And in a day or two, when the butter had cooled and the water cooled, the butter will be on top of the container, and you could just dab it and grab it and take a roll of the butter out and put it to the side.
There you go.
And then you would cut it up into your weighted portions so you can cook with.
Now, a side note,
Mm-hmm.
when you're making canned butter, be sure to use unsalted butter.
Yes.
The creamery butter, unsalted.
Okay.
It's the salt destabilizes it, and it begins to separate if you cool it too slowly.
Okay. There you go. Unsalted. There.
Yep.
So how long is your process? Is it...
I actually make my process 14 days.
Ooh, okay.
I want to get every little bit of quality out of it that I can, but again, I'm super careful with the temperature so as not to evaporate any of the other nutrients that might be in the root as well as the CBDs.
We have a lady on the phone.
Oh, excellent. Okay, go ahead, caller.
Yes, I heard there was a meeting today for OMMP patients and growers, and there was some kind of changes. Do you know anything about that, or I can find out some information?
I went to that meeting today, and it was for the patient growers. And we told you earlier, we got a letter a few months back asking if we wanted to stay with the OMMP or we would like to join the alcohol people.
Oh, LCC.
Yes. And it was due today at the letter.
Yeah, so you need to get it back in.
So they were talking about that, and it was 3 people there, concerned citizens, that gave testimony how they were hurting the patients by this process.
Is there any way I can find out how that meeting went?
Well, we got some video of it, and we'll get it posted up on YouTube here shortly, as soon as we can. Hey?
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a channel, a YouTube channel I could look it up on?
Oh, Mercy Center TV, actually, is our YouTube channel.
Okay, I could look it up there.
Right. Also, visit our website, mercycenters.org, and we have a link to it off our Mercy TV page, as well as links to the announcements about these, not just what's happening here, but in January there's going to be another deadline, and then April, I think some other things are going to be happening. So.
Okay, perfect. I can look that up. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, and if you're not able to find it, do send us an email, and we'll get you appointed right there.
I appreciate that.
Okay, well, thanks for
Thank
calling.
you, and have a good night.
Thank you.
And good luck, because the changes weren't designed to help the patients. The changes were not pro-cannabis. The changes were very anti. I'm afraid reefer madness was the rule of the day, and all the interests were kind of special, and that they were thinking of the special dollars that they'll be making if they don't worry about the patient community, I guess. But be that as it may, we do have, that is an option for folks that aren't able to stay with the program.
Well, they used the medical marijuana program as a cash cow, where we had funds taken from our bank account and distributed to several other in our same organization. But they didn't ask us if we could do that.
No, it was just taken. And worse, we weren't treated like any other agency where if that gets, that pays funds into the general account. We should be able to draw from it when it was needed, and we should be able to get, some of those other benefits. But no, we're the bastard, redheaded, left-handed stepchild under the stairs, and medical cannabis is still considered to have no medical value and to be so dangerous that it has to be licensed and regulated and every little toke measured and justified, and that's just not the case. It's sad that after the 20 plus years of OMA, we seem to have proved nothing by it. So
yeah. And the federal government has patents on medical cannabis products, and there's a website that you can go and find and see these patents.
Yep.
I read on the internet the other day that in Arizona, there was one of the drug companies that spent $500,000 in helping to put down the recreational marijuana situation there.
Yep.
And now they have gotten the FDA to approve their synthetic cannabis product, synthetic THC product, which effectively says that if the FDA accepts that, then that effectively says that the government does agree that there is medical benefits to THC and cannabis.
Yeah, you would think, but it's the same shell game. It's the same scam that they pulled with Marinol and Sesamet and other synthetic cannabinols and cannabinoids. And it's outrageous that an artificial version of something they claim has no medical value is now being pushed as being, just as good, no, even better. And that's wrong,
Part of the situation is that they're saying it has no medical value, and yet at the same time, the synthetic drugs that they're producing have only a narrow band of efficacy to them.
Right.
They don't have the basic minerals or amino acids that the original product does. So it's a narrow band of viability, whereas the original product of cannabis has many different nutrients and available vitamins to it.
Right, and it's a combination of these things too. It's not just the one thing. So, like with Marinol, they were trying to produce an artificial high. They're trying to make artificial THC because to them that was the only thing. It's all the other things in it, only some of which we have identified.
Right.
That's why it's imperative that we end the war and allow the research, real research, and know the truth to it. And then we'll be able to develop these methods for extracting and breeding strains that are THC low and CBD high.
We will be able to actually cure cancer.
Yep, well, that's what they say, but...
Well, I keep losing my place. I'm sorry. I'm not doing well tonight, folks. I apologize.
Stay with us, though. Stay with us here. Go. Mm-hmm.
The availability of the nutrients in combination, as you were saying, Perry, is much more viable and much more efficable together than they are separately.
Mm-hmm.
And the Marinol was supposedly helps with nausea and vomiting and food intake,
Right. Yeah.
the munchies.
Right.
And
Well,
it really
it's-
doesn't,
yeah.
it's been found that it really doesn't
No.
work that well at all.
You know, they were trying to recreate the munchies, which again was not just the THC, was not just the highness, but they didn't know, they didn't care, they didn't experience it or talk to people that experienced it. They just went off the Cheech and Chong movies to say this is what we want to have happen, you know, and so the things that we've experienced here at Mercy, and I believe Reed can speak to the same thing, is from people who have actually tried this. This is what they've found and encountered, and they shared this life-giving processes and information with folks, and that's how we now know that it has medical value and that it's not just in the THC. There's the CBDs, CBN, CBGs, and a few CBs that they don't even have a name for yet. Like I said, that's just some of the things that we've identified.
If the government truly believes that it has no medical value, let them do the research and prove it to us.
Exactly.
Because we're finding results in our health and other people's health that we share with. And they say it's anecdotal evidence.
Right. We
So
won't allow
prove that we're wrong. Prove that it's all in our minds. We believe and we know for ourselves and for our friends that it works. So let the government do the research, real research, with real cannabis instead of weak
Right.
offshoots of the product.
Yeah. Deliberately
do the real
bad
research and
versions of it,
prove
right?
that we're wrong or right.
Yeah, you know, if they were so damn sure, they'd let the studies go, and it would show that they're right. But they know it would show they're wrong. In fact, not only will they not allow it, they've gone back and destroyed any research that proved them. There was a study done in 1975 that showed cannabis affecting cancer. It was, as PK mentioned, evidence that was later reproduced in an experiment in Spain. And when they went looking for the 75 study, came out, oh, hey, it was destroyed by the DEA.
That's the study that came out.
Excuse me, folks.
But that's our news and information. We're getting ready to wind up.
Parents for Pot.
Right.
Look them up on the web. Look on the Mercy Center.
MercyCenters.org.
I hope you enjoy this program. I hope you enjoy my garden and the other shows that I bring to the station. Have a good night, folks. Get better, people in the hospital. Talk to your children.
Right on. Reed, thanks for coming on the show and sharing your information there. Thanks to our volunteers in the control room and CCTV for having us on. Thank you for watching.
Be at
And
peace.
that's
See you next time.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.